Welcome back to another episode of iShine Live, your one-stop shop for all the tattooing and whatever else you want to know. I'm here for it, It's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys. I know I'm live over here, but I'm also filming on the cam, guys. So if I look over here to the side, I am filming for the podcast as well. So you know how this shit goes. Ask me any questions that you want to, and the best questions that are answered will be clipped for Instagram, TikTok, Shorts, all of the above. And yeah, I'm here for you guys. This is your world, and I'm just living in it. How about that? Real quick, guys, before I get into the Q&A, I always go directly into the Q&A, which is fine. But I just want to give quick updates on everything that's happening in my life. Nothing crazy, just real quick, where do I start? The shop is doing great. I think we're adding 2 new artists to our shop, so we'll have a total of 12 artists. For right now, that's full capacity. We have 12 stations, but we're ready to add more if need be. But I want to make sure everybody that's there is thriving before I do that. We're also doing some renovations at the shop. We are trying to get one side of our building as the new break room to make room, or the new lobby, rather, and so that we can make room for more chairs, for more artists, for more people, more energy, so it's really exciting to do that. There's people painting there right now. There's people doing stuff, so that's getting done while I'm doing this. It's all very exciting because I've had the shop for a while, and it's always good to get a renewed sense of just new beginnings and transformation and evolution. Anything that doesn't continue to grow dies. So as long as we continue to grow, we'll never die. And that's what I love about what we're doing now. Other than that, outside of the shop, my personal life, I've actually been filming with this YouTube channel. My buddy owns a YouTube channel where we go and do really cool experiences, connect with people and that type of stuff, kind of travel-ish. We shot a couple videos already, very high-end stuff, like documentary style videos. And one of the videos is about to be released. This is where me and 3 other people went to the mountains of Mount Shasta in the forest, and we went to a Navajo Native American tribe to do a sweat lodge. So for those of you that don't know, a Native American sweat lodge is something that's been used for thousands of years to get a sense of renewed spirit and renewed body, renewed mind. And you go in there and there's multiple rounds of hot rocks being put in there. It's pitch black. There's some tobacco and cedar that gets put on there, and they drum and they chant and they pray while you're in there. It's very excruciating stuff. It's very hot. It's very enduring. If you've ever done like a hot sauna, imagine that times like 10. It's very, very hot, and you're in there for hours. So we went and did that, and we learned a lot about the culture, and we learned a lot about the process of the sweat lodge. And that video is going to drop very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Also, with that same team, that same YouTube channel, we just went to Oregon to an off-grid, self-sustaining eco community, which is about 10 miles off-grid. You can't use your phone, nothing like that. And we went and lived with them for 3 days to see how it is and get their story. A lot of these people have been living on there for a decade or more, maybe 15 years, and they really harnessed how to live off-grid, fully self-sustainable. They have their own water, they have their own food that they grow. Everything is on the property, and they built it from nothing. So that was really fun, and that video is going to come out soon as well. And overall, for me, I've just been trying to experience cool things and say yes to things and connect with people on a different level. And that's what I've always wanted to do. This next chapter of my life is going to be me traveling, me trying to connect in different ways that I never have before, and kind of spreading my wings in that way. And this is on the personal side. Obviously, the business side is still going. I'm going to double down on becoming a mentor or a coach of sorts. I just want to basically spread the knowledge like I have been, but on another level. Those of you that don't know, we just finished filming for the design course, which is, dude, it's a big deal, guys. It's a big fucking deal because we spent so many hours filming it and talking about it, brainstorming about it. And it seems easy just to film it and put it out, but it's not that easy, especially when you want to do it right. So we're doing it right, and we're going to make sure You guys get a lot out of it. So now we just have to finish the website, some back-end stuff, and then that will be coming out very shortly. So, and that's about it, you know, staying healthy, staying good day to day, exercising, drinking water, eating good, getting some nature, walking, breathing good air, taking deep breaths, all that good stuff, you know, everything that makes you feel good. So that's just a quick little update on what's going on. Let's get right into the Q&As. I know a lot of people over here are probably asking questions and I'm not paying attention to, but I'm about to go pay attention to them now. And let's see what is popping off in the chat. All right, what do we got? We got Josh Pack 314 asks, is it better to have one concept for a sleeve or does it work to blend ideas like ocean/mountains? One concept for a sleeve, one ocean/mountain. Well, oceans and /mountains seems like the same concept to me because it's nature, right? So as long as you understand where the horizon lines of one ends and one starts, I think it's very doable. You could definitely have ocean at the bottom of the arm of the sleeve and then the mountains at the upper arm of the sleeve. It would just kind of make sense. I think that's totally goes together. I think if you're talking about something that is completely different, completely out of nowhere, it is a little harder for them to blend together and make it look like one idea, but there's definitely ways to do it. And that's what you're going to learn in the design course, how to kind of layer these things together no matter what the images are. It is better for them to have a similar theme so that you could tell a story throughout the sleeve, but it's not absolutely necessary, especially if you have a picky client that wants to tell multiple stories on one arm. It's totally doable, but it all comes down to your composition and your layering, which you guys are going to learn in the design course. J Love Inc said, when will the webinars be ready? We were just working on the website today. Everything's done filming, just a couple bits of editing and finishing the website, and then it'll be completely ready. I can't give you an exact date now, but literally it could be any day. So I'll let you guys know ahead of time, and it's coming sooner than it was before. And yeah, I'm excited about it. Mac Mode asks, what's the best way to achieve being a tattoo artist but not necessarily talented in drawing? Well, Mac Mode, I do think that you can get good at tattooing without drawing at first. You know, I always separate the two. I think of tattooing as kind of the hammer and nails and then the drawing or the designing as the blueprint, right? So you can learn how to use hammer and nails, but if you don't have a blueprint or know how to make a blueprint, then you have nothing to use the hammer and nails on. For me, I think that a lot of people think of drawing as something that you either got or don't have, right? You either have this natural born talent or you don't. But I would argue that it's not like that at all. I think that drawing is something very akin to any other trade, any other thing that you can learn from scratch. It's just hours put in and trying to get better at things that you need to get better at. Everyone starts off as a shitty, you know, someone who draws, like they all start off somewhere. And it's not very good. It looks like chicken scratch, or a lot of people like to say, I can't draw a stick figure to save my life. But I guarantee if you drew that stick figure a few times and then you tried to draw like an arm and a leg, like a real one, and you could definitely do it. You just have to put the time in. And a lot of people don't want to put the time in to get good at that skill because it takes a lot of methodical effort. It's a very mindful driven trade because you have to be alone with your pad of paper and like learn things by doing it 1,000 times. And a lot of people don't want to put in those hours. That's the same reason why tattooing is hard to get into. It's something that is tedious and you have to commit a lot of yourself, and you can go a very long time and not feel like you're making progress because it's the progress is inching forward. But then if you zoom out and then you realize your progress, you're like, wow, I actually did get further than I thought. So yeah, I would say that you can get into tattooing without knowing how to draw, but don't hold yourself back about learning how to draw because I think anyone can. It's just up to your commitment. And that's, at the end of the day, in life, that's what it comes down to, is your commitment and your discipline. Grind Time Tommy asks, how much would the course be? So the full price of the course is going to be around $2,500, but for the first initial 50 people that purchase it are going to get 20% off, so that's $2,000, and they're also going to get a bonus videos, tattoo technique videos. I think we have about 3 of them that we're giving away, each of them over an hour, and that's also going to give you some of the tattooing side as well. So It's going to be a lot of content, including that bonus. So as soon as it drops, be the one to click the buy button and make sure you get in there before the price goes up. But I'll always have opportunities for you guys to get in where you fit in. There is also an option for you guys to pay in payments. I think we have an option for paying in 2 payments over 2 months, which kind of eases the burden. But I'll tell you guys what, I put a lot of effort into this course, and this is not something to be taken lightly. If you're going to purchase it, you need to come in with the idea that you're going to take notes and really pay attention to what's going on and watch it over and over again and rewind it and refer back to it. That's what I want you guys to do, because that's how you're going to get the most out of it. But yeah, that's what it is. One of my good clients, Mark, as a client of yours, I appreciate the fantastic culture you have built in your shop. How does one create that? Well, Mark, that's a great question. I would say from the beginning, you have to have the vision for the culture that you want to create in the shop. What do you want it to feel like? How do you want the artists to interact? How do you want the clients to interact? How involved do you want to be in the details of how that all plays out? But most importantly, I would say that you have to be what you want to see, right? You have to become it, and you have to live it and breathe it. And then those type of people will attract to you. And depending on how good you are at reading people, you might be able to hire based on the type of energy that you want to see in the shop. And a lot of people just kind of hire anybody that'll be willing to work for them because they see them as just money for the business. But I've always valued the energy of the person more than just the income that they would bring. So I definitely hire slow. But when I hire, those people tend to stick around for a long time because the energy that we're building there is a very intentional energy, and they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And when everyone is in their vibe and at the same time, it creates a type of vibe that they long for. Everyone longs for. They long for belonging and connection. And I tried to breed that in the shop so that they don't have to search outside of work or home to get that sense of connection. And I think a lot of people are looking for that sense of connection, and they don't know how to get it because they're very secluded in their job, or the way their shop is set up is very, no one wants to step on each other's toes, or everyone just has their head down with their headphones on. And we don't do that. We like to interact. I'm at the shop more than I'm at home. So it's kind of like, I would rather that place be a great energy. So it's up to you as a leader to set the company culture from the gate and then uphold that and communicate. And I think communication is a big one for any business. So communicate, communicate, communicate. My boy TMC Tattoos asks, what do you typically shoot in golf? Well, my boy, very rarely do I play my own ball. We usually play scramble with about 3 to 4 people because it tends to be funner when you're with multiple people. You try to shoot as low as you can go on an 18. I believe the other day we shot 2 under on a 9, which was pretty solid for us. Me, myself, if I was playing by myself, I've gotten, my best round is maybe, I shot maybe 1 birdie and 3 pars on my best. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning to get consistent, as a lot of people are. If you know golf, it has a weird way of showing you that you're really good, and then the next day showing you that you're really bad and you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So that's the reality of golf. So I tend to stay on the fun side of golf while also having fun with adjusting my technique, because it is fun to learn something new. So that's what I'm banking on, So I don't even know my handicap or anything like that, but I hope that answers your question. Mr. Fuerte asked, 2-part question. Which do you prefer to do based on the work that is entailed? A sleeve tat or full neck tat? And also, are you still doing the Peaks and Valleys coffee shop? Okay, so first question, a sleeve tat or a full neck tat? I would say a sleeve tattoo. There's more surface area to work with. There's more stories to be told with more surface area. And it makes, a big change in people's lives. They get to wear their story on their skin. For the neck, I would say it's more for just aesthetics. You could put some meaningful stuff on your neck, but there's not a lot of surface area. It's very hard to tattoo. And I don't mind tattooing necks and stuff. It's just that you're limited. You know, you can't add as many layers. You have to simplify everything even more. And you have to stick to single references, maybe a couple layers. I like to go big. So anywhere I can go big and feel like I'm taking up space the way it needs to be taken up, like the best it could be taken up. So the more surface area you give me, the better. Necks are fine, but I would definitely prefer sleeves. Second part to that question, are you still doing the Peaks and Valleys coffee shop? No, I'm actually not. I had to pivot from that. And why did I have to pivot from that? Because I spent a lot of time, energy, and money getting it done. I went pretty deep in. I've sourced all the coffee, the 3 different types of blends that we wanted to have. I sourced the chocolate, sourced the cups and the lids and the milk and what our front counter was gonna look like and all this stuff. And then the hang up, it comes with the city and our blueprints and our architect, right? So we've made plenty of changes, spent a lot of money to make changes to the building to make it fitting for this type of thing. But it ended up being too much. After many times sending it back and forth, our blueprints, they sent it back with 25 more revisions that were just undoable. They were just not even fathomable for us to do. So we ended up having to decide to pivot, which kind of sucks because we went pretty deep and I had already bought all the best coffee equipment, espresso machines, all of that. But, you know, it's okay. Sometimes in business, you have to be okay with change and pivoting quickly and not hanging up on it. I know it sounds like a really good idea, guys, and it sounds really fun, but you don't make anything doing coffee, but you spend a whole lot doing it. The margins on coffee are absolute trash, and even if you were to sell as many as a Starbucks does in one day, you're still not going to be clearing anywhere near what we do for the tattoo shop. So on a pure business sense, it just doesn't make sense. It sounds cool if you daydream about it, but when it comes down to brass tacks, it is what it is, and you got to pivot. So, Sick Lines asks, what is your best advice on becoming a first studio? Okay, he worded this really weird. I'm gonna reword it for him. What's your best advice for opening your first studio? I think that a lot of people think that when you open your own studio or shop that you get more freedom out of it. Even if you do a small shop, it's not necessarily mean there's more freedom. A lot of people like to compare working in someone else's shop as like, you know, oh, I have to be here a certain amount of days and I have to pay this money to the shop and all this stuff. And that seems like a burden to them. And they think if they open their own shop that they'll be more free and they'll be able to keep more of their money and all of this stuff. But let me tell you the reality. Even if you were to do a small shop, now you have bills. And even if you were to get a low rent spot and just have enough room for a few artists, your bills are going to climb higher than you think because there's more to pay for than just rent. You know, you got to pay for internet, you got to pay for trash, you got to pay for utilities, you got to pay for health department fees. There's just a lot of things, especially if you want to do it right and do it well. You end up paying more than what you would pay to a shop if you worked in someone else's shop. So that's not a factor. So money, not a factor. Especially if you're at a good shop that allows for growth and to make more money and to better your booth rent or percentage and stuff. That's great. And then especially a shop that handles your bookings and there's stuff that you don't have to worry about. But once you have your own shop, you're actually more anchored to that place than you think, because once you have it, it's yours, and now you have to pay the rent there. You have to stay active at it, because if there's artists that work there and you're just never there, it's going to become a dead-end shop that no one wants to work at. Some people think it's cool to just work at a little shop where everyone's just head down doing their thing. They don't bug each other. They come in when they come in. They leave when they leave. That might be cool for maybe like a year or so, but you're going to get really uninspired. You're going to get really disconnected, and then tattooing is going to become more of a job than a passion or a career, and that's what you don't want, because then you're really going to be second-guessing your whole life, basically. Like, where do I go from here now? And then if you do a bigger shop, there's really not a lot of freedom in that, because now you're deciding to become an entrepreneur and do something bigger, and you're going to take less money at first. You're going to have a lot of money going out with no guarantee that it's going to come back. And then you have to deal with people and how their emotions are and their day-to-day lives just as much as your own, because they're the thing that keeps the shop running. So I would just say go into it only if you're ready for the long journey and you really want that for yourself. A lot of people think they want it for themselves, and then they test it out and they realize how burdensome it is. And it only sounded cool, but the reality of it is not as glamorous. So if you're a first-time studio owner, I would say, first of all, gauge why you're doing it in the first place. Is it just for ego, or do you really want to do this for real? Then if you really want to do it for real, on what level do you want to do it? Because you could do it at a very low level, kind of mediocre level, or if you want to shoot for the moon and if you miss, you still land amongst the stars, you could do that too. But just know, the bigger your goal, the bigger the responsibility. So you have to decide the ROI on what you get out of it in your life, not just monetarily, but just in a sense of quality of life. If you want to go big, you need to think about a lot of things. You need to think about how it's going to run when you get popping and there's a lot of artists in there, and what do you want to do for the artists and what do you not want to do? What's your percentage or what's your booth rent? What do you want the company culture to be? Set a vibe, set a culture, set a tone for everyone to follow. You're going to have to better yourself in many ways to become a leader, because no one wants to work for someone who's just depressed all the time and just kind of feels like they don't take care of themselves. And you have to evolve yourself into a better version of yourself if you're going to do that, because you're in a leadership position, and that's not very easy. It's actually very hard and sometimes lonely, because you have to really put a lot into yourself while everyone else doesn't have to worry about the same things. If you're doing it at a small level, you don't have to be as careful about all that stuff, but it doesn't make sense to me to do it at a small level, because you're always going to want to go bigger if you did that. And you're always going to want to develop the same habits, because at the end of the day, good habits are good habits and bad habits are bad habits. So just, make sure it's what you want to do and make a plan and get detailed with your plan. Lupu Lengo asks, have you ever planned a tattoo around the world? Maybe, yeah, but I think most of all, I'm curious about traveling and connecting with people in general. Doesn't even necessarily have to involve tattooing. I try to connect with myself as someone more than a tattoo artist. I like to see what I could go do in the world and what type of experiences I can create off of my ability to be open to connections and stuff like that. And whether that involves tattooing or not is beside the point. Yes, maybe one day I'll do like a little tattoo tour and stuff like that, but it would more so be about the people and the experiences more than the tattooing itself, because I can just tattoo at my shop, But if I ever do that, I will let you guys know, and I'm sure it would be really fun. So if I get inspired to do that, I'll make sure everybody knows about it. Jada's104 asks, have you ever done one-on-one teaching sessions, and would you do it again? Yes, I have. I've actually offered this before, and I've done a handful of clients through there, and it's fun. It's a good time. I would say it's still me trading my time for the transaction, and I want to make sure if I do that I'm giving them the best that I could possibly give, and I need to optimize my setup to be able to give people what they need, and I need to be able to show my iPad screen, which I know there's a way you can do that. And make it worth it for them and then worth it for me and my time. But right now I think I'm focused on creating pre-made products for you guys where I can really pour my heart out about some of these techniques and ideas. And that way those can live on forever, and I could always sell those or give those away to people that I feel like need them. And I think that it's a huge value to have a library of things that I feel that are very valuable to offer to people. So I'm focusing on doing that right now, and then maybe after that I'll bring back the one-on-one coaching, but my time is best used right now to focus on the shop, the team, the evolution of that, and then the master classes or the courses that I have been working on and building that website up. So I think that's where I'm focused on now. You ever work with Boog? Nope, never worked with Boog. Shout out to Boog though, man. Legend. Gone too soon. Any progress on opening the second Peaks and Valleys shop? Never said there would be a second Peaks and Valleys shop. Maybe I did a long time ago, but I don't know. I don't know if that's where I'm going. I'm not really trying to reach for the sake of reaching. It all needs to make sense. It all needs to, the ROI, not just in money, but also freedom, needs to make sense to me. And sometimes I find myself valuing freedom more than I value more, you know? So right now I'm focused on the culture at the shop we're at now. And although it seems like I've had it for a while, there's always more development to be done. And as I grow as a person, the trajectory of the shop grows. And as people leave and then people come and all this stuff, there's just new energy. And, you know, it's always something new with the shop. So it really keeps me on my toes. And it makes me feel like I don't really need a second shop right now or any time in the foreseeable future. I think I'm going to focus on the culture in the shop now. And focus on being present, being the best that I could be for them and for everyone around me and for you guys and the courses and stuff. So that's more what I'm focused on, I think. Ray Smith 806 asked, love your work, bro. What do you do if you're not feeling the tattoo that day to push through and give the client your best? Well, I believe that preparation is key when it comes to high-end work or any work, but let's say what we do. Preparation is where you get all of the stress out. You prepare as much as you can. I do a lot the night before the client even comes in. I even get the approval of the design before the next day, right? So a lot of people don't like to do that because they're scared that they might see it and they show it to their friend, they show it to their family member, and then they have a bunch of changes to make. But I've gotten to the point where I'm confident enough in delivering a design that is objectively good. So if I'm confident that I got their idea across in a way that feels creative and it tells a story and I enjoy it and I think it'll be a dope tattoo, I'll send it. Because if I can get the fucking approval the night before and then I could also stencil either that night or the morning of and have all of that done ready for this 2-day back-to-back or this 3-day back-to-back, the more at ease I'm gonna feel on the day of tattooing. So even if I go in there and I'm not feeling it that day or whatever that means, I'm basically set up to go along the trajectory just step by step, and I don't have to think about much other than just applying the tattoo, right? But I would also say that you would be more consistent in your attitude and how you feel, the better you take care of yourself. So if there's anything inside you that you feel like is inconsistent or something that makes you feel like you're not be able to show up as your best every day, you need to fix that. And I think the things that you do behind the scenes matter even more than the things you do in front of the scenes. You know, what you do when no one's looking is more important. And a lot of people just go home and veg out. And I would say use that time to prepare yourself to go back into the world as your best self. And I think that's going to take you very far. And I think a lot of people can feel that on you, including your clients. Might even progress your career. I know it'll progress your career. So maybe that's just something to think about since that was your question. What are your thoughts on SCM Inc. tattoo? Is that, I think that's my boy, homeboy that does the reactions and stuff like that. I think he's tight. He's dope as fuck. I think he's killing it. He's found his niche. He's a young guy. I think he's fucking cool. We never met face to face, but we've exchanged a couple words here and there. We know about each other. But I think he's killing it, dude. More power to him. And I know he's working on some stuff too. Big future for that guy. He does huge numbers. So, I mean, there's nothing he can't do at this point. It's just up to him as far as what he wants to do. So, shout out to SCM. Where's your shop located? We are located in Sacramento, California, the Midtown District, right across the street from the Governor's Mansion, not too far from the Golden One Center where our Kings basketball team plays and where the beam is lit. If you don't know, our team lights a beam in the sky that's seen from space every time we win, even if it's an away game, and you can see it bright and beautiful from the shop. And we have a nice big shop, about 5,000 square foot standalone building. And we utilize the space the best we can. And we have about 12 artists. Some of them do color, most of them do black and gray, but we got something for everybody. and we're doing some of the best work that I've seen, and we have the best energy that I've ever seen in a shop because everyone is on the same page and everyone brings a good vibe. So if you're ever interested in stopping by the shop, I know you'll have a good time because I have a good time every single day. So Peaks and Valleys, Sacramento. All right, Nico Inks asks, Mr. Shine, my mentor quit my shop and I am now the only artist there. I am still an apprentice under no one though. What should I do? Please help. Well, Nico, the answer is obvious to me. I think you need to find a new shop so that you can continue to grow and learn to build your clientele and get better with your techniques. There's no way that as an apprentice that you're going to be able to tattoo by yourself in a studio with no one checking you without developing some bad habits along the way. And I think it's key for any new artist to focus on not developing bad habits, even if it takes you longer to get to where you want to go. I think it's going to be even worse if later down the road you have these habits that are hard to break, or they're just like, it's hard for you to change because you already have a specific way you like to do things, but you don't even know that half of those things are bad habits. So I would say find a shop where you admire people's work and they're open to teaching. Maybe not on an apprentice level. Maybe you can go there as like a low-level artist, but offer them something like show your dedication, and maybe you can get around some people that you could then absorb over time from and get to where you want to go in your career, because it's not going to happen the proper way if you're just in that studio by yourself. So you need to drop that studio. You need to find a spot where you can go and absorb some good information, some good habits, and be around people, because at the end of the day, people just want to connect with people, and you just need to find good people to be around. Toyota RD asks, have you heard of Carl Grace? Of course I have. I'm from an era where we know all the tattoo artists, especially the OGs, and Carl Grace has been a huge influence. If you don't know Carl Grace, he does a lot of freehand work. He even does a lot of super freehand work where he just goes in with the machine. He does kind of some horror stuff, a bunch of female faces, but really he does a little bit of everything. He's definitely an OG. He's a legend in the industry, and he's definitely someone to follow. And I don't think I've ever met him in person, but he's a super cool guy, and his artistry is next level, and his comfortability with a tattoo machine and a needle is just unmatched. So yeah, I know Carl Grace, and he is amazing. YB Antho said, love your work, man, and your style. Keep it up. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the live. Nico, I am forever grateful. You're welcome, man. I hope you find your path, and I'd say keep going. Art Ago, are you hiring? No, we're at full capacity for right now. Dre did that, said, I probably developed so many, man, that's why I want to be taught on top of what I know. I'm assuming you're talking about so many bad habits. That's why I want to be taught on top of what I know. Dre, what I would say is it's not just about being taught on top of what you know, but you might have to undo a lot of what you think you know and go backwards to then readjust what you thought was right to something that actually right at the foundational level, and then the rest coming out of that will be stronger. Because if your foundational understanding of tattooing or how to approach it is off, it's going to crumble as you start to put more information on top of that. And what I tell a lot of artists is the more open you are to change and changing what you think you know, the better you're going to be. I think a lot of artists hold their ego real close to their knowledge of tattooing, so that's where their value comes from. So if you try to tell them that something they know is wrong, they get hurt deeply by it, like you're insulting their actual being, which I think is the wrong way to be. I think the more open you are, the more you progress, the more you feel a sense of newness all the time. You don't get so burnt out, and you get to learn new things from new people. And just because someone teaches you something new doesn't mean that person is above you in any way. There's people I've learned things from that arguably are nowhere near where my career is, and whatever the situation may be. Everyone has someone to teach as long as you can gauge if it's good information or not. If you know that is good information and you're just kind of being stubborn, you need to check your ego and you need to set that aside and start to learn how to relearn some stuff that you thought you knew, as opposed to just stacking information on top of a bad foundation. So fundamentals, man, fundamentals is key, and then stacking good info on top of that. That's what I think you need to do, Dre. Wow, can't believe I made it to see you live. I watch your vids every day. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. Can't wait for the courses to learn more. Thank you, Isaiah. I appreciate you joining. I know I randomly go live sometimes, so it's kind of hard to join because I don't really always give a huge heads up. And oh wow, look who just walked in, the Vanessa herself. Come say hi real quick. Just show your face.
Where?
Right here.
What up? Hi.
I thought the door was just opening by itself.
I'm all forehead right now.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. If you guys don't know, that's at Jessa Tattoos. One of the best female black and gray artists and color artists in the entire world. Just trying to pump her up a little bit. Oh, man. Tattoos by Blanco said, what's good? We talked on FaceTime at Golden State. Your boy, Ben. Oh, yeah, I remember, bro. I remember. That was good. Cool that you got to join live now. It's awesome. Dre said, the piece she just did with the pink and blue tears drops was insane. Yeah, that was absolutely insane.
Thank you.
She said, thank you. Isaiah said, your way of teaching is phenomenal. Thank you, Isaiah. I just try to explain it the way that I would want to absorb it when I was coming up. Nice and simple, concise, but it gets a lot of the points that you might be thinking in your head. I don't know. I just let it flow. If you guys like it, I love it. Henrique Morello asks, how do you see the tattoo market in America and the union between artists? Well, my friend, I don't think you could lump in all of American tattooing into one. I think that it's regional, it's based on different cities and their different vibes, and I think all that plays into those respective areas, and you'd be surprised at how different they are in different areas, right? It could be just as different as America and Europe. It could be from East Coast to West Coast. It could be just as different. I would say that in America, it's just like anywhere else, I would say. I think more so social media has brought everyone on the same playing level. So no longer is it, oh, I have to go here, have to go there. It's like everyone has a voice or a platform for them to show their work. So it doesn't really matter where you're at. I think in America, prices are going up because inflation is going up and a lot of people need to eat. A lot of people are in competition here and they feel very competitive to the next person. But to be honest, that exists all around the world. I think the best thing to do is to focus on your own shit and to stay tunnel visioned on how you can get better and be better, how you can feel better. And as long as all that is aligned, who cares about anything else? I would say there's a booming economy in parts of America more than like some third world country or some smaller country or like where stuff is really bad. So I'm not really comparing to those places, but I'm saying in general, it doesn't really matter where you're at. You can build a personal brand and really build your business around that. Custom K9 said, it's about being the best artist that provides an excellent experience. Yeah, experience is everything for sure. Hair Jordan Tattoo asked, love the work, bro. Any advice on connecting pieces seamlessly for sleeves? I have some advice for that, but better yet, we are about to drop a design masterclass on how you could do all of that and more, and that is coming out very soon, so keep an eye out for that. And I would rather you get all the info from there because I put my heart and soul into that, and there's many hours of highly valuable content, and that'll be dropping soon. So Show the dog, he's in upstairs in my room. I would have to go get him, bring him, and then he's going to bark even more, and then it's not going to be good for the live. One day, he'll be a guest on the show, I guess, if he's not barking his fucking brains out. He just wants to know that whoever's in the house is supposed to be in the house, so he feels like he's protecting. But he's also a tiny dog, so he can't do any damage. So he just tries to screech your ears off for you to leave, you know? Yeah, I know, he wants to participate in the live. I know, it's hilarious. I've had him in a couple iShine clips, but from way back when. Dre asked, do you think you could tattoo on a decent level in jail with jail material? 100% I could. No doubt in my mind. I think it would be an adjustment because I would have to use different equipment and it's not as easy to get a stencil on. And I'd probably have to draw stuff on a little more. Plus, it would take longer and then you would have to have like the stressful situation of tattooing under duress of getting caught. But all that aside, I think I could do some really good work in prison, and it would be a way for me to stay neutral, maybe. I don't know. But I don't plan on going to prison, so I'm done with that era of my life. So Maxwell Angelo said, I started tattooing from my extra bedroom watching your old YouTube vlogs, laugh my ass off. That's awesome, bro. I miss those old vlogs. Glad you're still around supporting. I think he's done. Okay, maybe he's done. Maybe he's done. Nope. Hey! All right. Cruz369 asks, why'd you choose to be in San Francisco? Well, I never chose to be in San Francisco because we're not in San Francisco. We are in Sacramento, California. I don't even really like San Francisco, to be honest. Yes, he sounds like a squeak toy. He is a squeak toy. He's a tiny guy. He's maybe 4 or 5 pounds, but he has a bark that'll pierce your eardrums. Jay Tattoos asked, just opened my private studio, any tips? Yeah, I kind of answered this question a little bit earlier, but you need to figure out a way for yourself to continue to grow, because if you're just going to get stagnant now and just knock out tattoos and you just have a private studio so that you can collect your money and just go home and you think it's more money because you don't have to pay any shop booth rent or percentage, and maybe if you get a couple artists, they'll pay the rent and then I could just keep 100%. That's all for the wrong reasons, to be honest with you, because it's not really going to work out like that. It's going to be really tough if you don't figure out a way to get around good people. And to get around good people, good people got to want to work for you. So you have to become a really good person that gives off that energy and even inspires people, because that's what people want to work around. If you want it to be successful, you're really going to have to become someone different. You're going to have to become a leader. You're going to have to become someone that sets a vision and sets a culture with your shop. If you want to just stay in there by yourself and just tattoo, that's cool. But I'm telling you, you're gonna get burnt out. So opening your own shop seems like a small thing because everyone does it. But to do it right and to do it in a way that adds to your life and doesn't take away from it, you're gonna have to become a different evolution of yourself, and you have to take on a lot more than just hiring some artist and paying rent. So I would think a little deeper about the things that you need to change or get better at for you to be a better person for other people, and then how you're going to continue to get better at tattooing so you don't end up being stagnant and doing the same type of work you've always been doing. So those are some things to think about going into opening your own studio. Ink by Houston asks, any tip on running a shop with being a neutral area and having different specialized artists? I'm on my second shop now, but trying to keep both elevated and growing at the same time can be tough. Yeah, it could be tough. It's why I don't have 2 now. A lot of people love the idea of owning multiple shops because it sounds cool. And then maybe you could open one in another area and there's different types of clientele. You can get different types of artists. You really have to decipher the difference between daydreaming about an idea and the reality of an idea. Because when you own 2 shops, it takes a mental toll on you. Owning 1 shop takes a mental toll on you, and you have to be prepared for that. Some people rush into 1 shop too fast, let alone 2 shops, because you realize that you're only as successful as the artists that are working in your shop, and to manage those people is something that you can only control up to a certain point. Yes, you could create a good culture that they want to be around, create a good energy, make them want to work there. But at the end of the day, you can't stop people from leaving, from getting a new idea of what they want for their lives, getting bored with what you got going on because it feels like you're just hiring artists to make money, and then they leave. And then all of a sudden, if you have 2 shops and you have 3 people leave from each shop within a span of a month, you might go bankrupt because you have too much stuff to pay for and not enough artists to pay for it. So the thing about tattoo studios or shops is other people are working so that you can get paid. And that is a hard model because you start to look at people like their income rather than people. But I want to make sure I cement this in your head that it's more about the people than it is about the income, because if you make it about the people, the income will come. All right? So 2 shops, you have to evaluate why one would be doing better than the other, or why neither of them are doing good, or how you get both of them to do good. Or you might even come to the conclusion that one shop that's doing really well is better than two shops that are doing mediocre or not well, because it's more of a burden on your life than it is a blessing. And don't go chasing stuff just because it sounds good. It sounds good to post it. You post it on your Instagram and you're like, look at my second shop. I'm so blessed. God got me. And then people are commenting. They're like, damn, you're a fucking tight. You're fucking a boss. You got two shops. Man, I remember coming up, you only had this. You didn't have shit. I remember you tatting out the crib. Now you got two shops. You're a big dog now. All of that is empty fucking comments, to be honest with you, because when it comes down to it, those people aren't going to pay your bills. Those people aren't going to make you feel good at the end of the day. Only people that can do that is yourself. And you really need to decipher what's real and what's fantasy. And I'm not saying you can't do two shops. I'm just trying to give you a different perception on what two shops actually means, right? So let's say you do want to do two shops. Well, you're going to have a type of infrastructure that is high level, as far as marketing, as far as who you hire, how you retain artists, how you lead these artists, how often do you communicate with each of them individually as the owner / leader of this business. You have to become a different version of yourself, like I've said in these other questions. You have to work on yourself to the point where you are unshakable and you can handle high pressure situations, high emotion situations. You can handle other people's emotions without you getting upset. And there's just a whole lot that comes with working with that many people and that much infrastructure. So yeah, I would say, evaluate why you're doing it in the first place. And if you do still want it and you don't want to just focus on one shop or whatever, then you really have to become another version of yourself that is highly operational and highly emotionally intelligent for you to handle that much stuff. And EO Korka asks, can a tattoo artist be a millionaire? Yes, 100%. Especially depending on if you mean millionaire by net worth or millionaire by cash in the bank. Millionaire by net worth is easily attainable. There's probably more millionaires out there than you think by that metric. But here's the thing. You could be a millionaire by net worth but have no money in your bank account. So that's not the same thing. If you're talking about $1 million in the bank account, you could definitely do it, but you got to be a grinder. You might have to own a shop, and you have to have a system that works on a level that is very high. And you have to have good financial literacy to where you save your money, you invest it correctly, and you know how to live simply on delayed gratification for you to stack up to something that is bigger, for a bigger purpose, for a sense of security or freedom, rather than just spending the money as you get it. So you have to be very financially literate to become a millionaire by cash to be a tattoo artist, and you probably would have to get at a high level of tattooing to where you could charge a very good amount each time and build a big clientele and all of that. But when it comes down to the net worth of tattooing, it's like I've been a millionaire if it's by that metric. I've been a millionaire for years, but I don't go online and just talk about how I'm a millionaire in that way, because I would rather not make it about the money. I would rather make it about the person you have to become to obtain that. So that's why my content is the way it is, and I don't talk about money so much. But yeah, of course, tattoo artists can become a millionaire. Ink by Houston, follow up to the other question he asked. Each person has their own situation and persona, and getting to all of them in their own way, making them see my vision, can get in the way. Yeah, 100%. And that's the tough part about it. That's why you have to become someone that doesn't just beg people to follow your vision. You have to become someone that they admire on a level where they want to follow your vision. You can't force anyone to do anything. You can inspire them. You can nudge them. But the best thing you could do is lead by example. So you have to become what you want them to become. And some people might get weeded out, but other people will come if you're really authentic and genuine. It sounds like, yeah, of course their personas get in the way and their emotions get in the way. That's the hard part of owning a shop. And if you don't already have that down packed with your first shop, it's really tough to open a second shop. A lot of people think of tattooing as a business in a way that is just like any other business, but it's different, because it's even more about the people than other business. All businesses are about people, but tattooing is different because they're artists and they're emotional and they have their own egos and they want to feel important and they want to know that they have a career on their own aside from the shop. So for you to be like, hey, this is a better situation than whatever else you could be doing, you have to create a culture and become someone that is high level beyond just a tattoo shop owner. That doesn't even register on what you're supposed to become to handle that type of stuff. You have to go outside of being a tattoo shop owner and become something that is high level, highly effective, high emotional intelligence. You know yourself strongly. You know your vision strongly. You've written it down in detail many times. It's effective. It's going to help people build their careers. You got to make it more selfless than selfish. So you have to think about the people more than you think about yourself. And that means you have to take sacrifices. But along the path, you're trying to figure out a way that makes it more beneficial for them. And for them to see your vision, you have to be clear on what you want and where you're going and how it would benefit them along the way to tag along with you. And you have to say this with conviction and you have to feel it and you have to not be scared to do shop meetings and all these type of things where they can hear your voice and the passion in your voice when you're stating this stuff. Because it's not enough to just be like, hey, I think you should do this. And they're like, I don't want to do that. And you're like, well, fuck, they don't want to go along with my vision. That's not it. High level shit. Study different business owners from different industries. Check your own spirit on how you're able to connect with people. There's a whole different side of it that is very important. Especially if you're talking about two shops. Like, fuck, dude, you got to get it down for one shop first if you're talking about their persona and their wants and their needs. Yeah, that's the whole game of tattoo shop owning. It's not about just numbers. If anything, numbers is easy. It's about the people. So you got to become up there to handle that amount of pressure from their own emotions and stuff. Ink Powers asks, what is the most responsible way to leave a troubled/problematic shop? I'm in a place where I surpassed my mentor and it seems like he wanted me to do good, just not better than him. This is actually more common than you think, where the student surpasses the teacher, but the teacher doesn't want that to happen because their own ego is tied up in the situation. I would say that as long as you continually show respect to your teacher, because there's a certain amount that he's done for you, regardless of how he's acting now, there's a certain amount that he's done for you to get to where you're at. So first of all, you need to pay your respects. Second of all, you need to realize, you need to take accountability for anything that you might be doing to make the energy in the spot bad. Like, is there anything that you're doing? You need to really check yourself, because it might seem like other people are acting different, but you might not be realizing if you're acting different because you think you're now better than your mentor. And just that statement alone says that you're thinking in that way, right? You're thinking in a sense of hierarchy of like, well, I surpassed him, I'm better. Well, is that kind of leaking into the energy of the shop kind of in a subconscious way? Like, are you slipping in little things in there that you didn't even realize that is making everyone treat you a little differently? I'm not saying that is the situation, but that could be the situation. After you've already checked yourself in that way, if it's something that's actually toxic and problematic, you make an exit plan. You figure out where you want to go after, or where you want your career to progress to. You make a plan, and then after you have a plan, you talk to your mentor and tell him, hey, I really appreciate what you've done for me. You've gotten me to the point that I'm at now. I am searching for other experiences in my life, and I want to experience different energies, and I want to continue to grow. So I want to let you know that I'm thinking about moving on soon. I'm going to give you as much of a heads up as you want, but I'm not looking to do this for another few months. So at the very minimum, I'll give you 3 months heads up. But I really appreciate what you've done for me, and I want to make sure we're on the same page, that we're still good after this, because I really want to remain friends. And after that, if he has some hangups in himself where he reacts aggressively towards you or he gets defensive, that's his own problem. But you need to make sure that the problems aren't coming from you and you're handling it like an adult, like an emotionally intelligent adult. If he reacts in a certain way, like bad or whatever, you can't control that. even if he reacts defensively, you can't get defensive. You have to reiterate that you appreciate him and you want to move on and be firm on that. And then he can't do anything after that because you've only been nice to him. You've only showed your respect and you've told it like it is. And he's going to have to deal with it one way or another. Okay, Toy Lins, let's talk about it. You don't tattoo black people. I don't know why you're on my feed. I definitely tattoo black people. My entire beginning of my career is just me tattooing darker skin in the hood. Like I've done, bro, like you don't even understand how many I've done. And I post them on my page, but you just probably don't think they're black people because the way the lighting is set up, it makes them look more lighter skin. And honestly, it's kind of ridiculous because I tattoo anybody that books and I do great tattoos on everyone. Once you know how to tattoo on a level where you have a certain understanding, you could tattoo anyone, anything, okay? It doesn't just be like, oh, just because you have all pale skin or Asian skin or Filipino skin, that's why you do good tattoos. No, I understand tattooing on a level that allows me to do whatever, okay? And I tattoo anyone that books an appointment. If more ethnic people or more, Asian people or more white people or more this people book with me, that's not up to me. I don't fucking pick and choose. But I tattoo anybody that books an appointment, and whoever books an appointment, they're gonna get the best out of me, and they're gonna leave with a great tattoo regardless, and a great experience. And I have plenty to show for that. So, Ink by Houston, to follow up on the questions that I've answered for them before, said, totally agree. I named it Visionary to propose and preach what my shops hold in hiring inspired artists who want better with each outcome is always the goal. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds dope. Love the name. I love the vision. Just keep refining it. And the more you refine it, the easier it is for you to communicate. And then remember to be it and, don't just preach it. You have to become it. So congrats on all that. Tattoos by Blanco said, been following Shine since the tattoo shop with the red and black checkered print floors. That's crazy. That's the first tattoo shop I ever worked in. Polka Dots Tattoo Shop. Tattoos and piercings. That was a long time ago, brother. It's like 10 years ago at least. I appreciate you still following though. I mean, fuck. If you followed from back then you know the growth and you know all the phases. And a lot of people see me where I'm at now and they tend to sum me up and try to just be like, just what I am now. But it has been a long, hard road. And the only reason I know enough to talk to you guys in this way is because I've taken the long journey. The long journey, not the short journey. I didn't just get popping on IG 2 years in and then started just getting booked out and all that. I've gone through the ringer, okay, every step of the way. And that's why my advice is so potent, because I'm speaking on a level where I understand where a lot of you are coming from. So I appreciate you following, brother, and I'm glad you're still following. Quaylen said, appreciate the content that you provide that a lot of artists keep to themselves, waiting on the design course. Of course, my friend, design course is coming soon. And for those of you asking at the very end, how much is the design course? We are doing the design course for $2,500 that you could split into 2 payments if you want to over 2 months. But for the first 50 people, we are offering a 20% discount plus a bonus package of tattoo technique videos. So as soon as we drop it, the quicker you buy it, the more of a discount that you'll get. But I'll always give you guys opportunities to save money on getting the course or giveaways and all of that good stuff. But I will say I put a lot of effort into the course, and it'll definitely be worth the investment, especially if you split it up into payments. It's a lot more easier. But yeah, so at that, I think that's enough because our equipment is telling us otherwise. So much love to you guys. Thank you guys for participating. You will see any of the good clips posted on Instagram, and we will try to tag anybody that was asking the questions. Make sure you guys repost them and show some love and comment, because that always helps us keep going. Also, the YouTube channel, we just recently dropped a new vlog behind the scenes of the process of the tattoo, so go ahead and check that out. We're always posting there. Check out the shop page on Instagram, Peaks and Valleys Tattoo Lounge on Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel for the shop, Peaks and Valleys TV, where the entire shop is involved in the vlogs. If you're a client and you want to get some really good work done, check out our website, peaksandvalleysbrand.com. Check out all of our artists. We are always have someone available at different rates. And yeah, thank you guys. This has been another episode of iShine, and we will continue to get better and go further together. If I shine, we all shine. So thank you guys. Peace.